How's it going, everybody? It's Pride here, and welcome back to another video, another Q&A video. It's been like a year, maybe two, since I've done one, but I decided to ask you guys what questions you have. So without further ado, let's go ahead and answer these questions, and I'm sure will be nice and fun. What's your biggest regret in life so we can avoid it? Maybe the next. Do you have any specific plans for content in the foreseeable future? Projects, new games, collabs, etc.? I guess I'm always on the lookout for new things. One big thing that I really had a lot of interest in doing, and I kind of want to see if I can maybe try to get it done this year, is for Halloween. I do always love playing a bunch of horror games. Obviously, we play a lot of horror games on the channel. I wanted to do like a thing where I stay overnight at like one of the most haunted hotels in LA or in the UK where I have access to it, or somewhere where I can actually stay there and film and quite possibly go like ghost hunting. I would love to do that. Like, that's something that I've really wanted to do for a really long time. Listen, if anybody has any hookups or knows any cool spots in LA that are like haunted hotels or anything like that, feel free to let me know. But that is like a big project that I would love to try out and do, and is something a lot different than like anything I've done before. And I probably will do it one day, if not this year, hopefully next, but I'm gonna try to do something like that for this year. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But when it comes to like collabs, you know, I'm always playing with friends. I never specifically like go out of my way to like contact other Twitch streamers or YouTubers and be like, yo, let's do a collab together or anything like that. It's mainly like I play with friends, or you know, maybe we'll do something cool with co-op related with Valentine. There's always possibilities for stuff like that in the future, and there's so many new games. Just March, you know, we're gonna have so many freaking games. Specifically, this was recorded before Dragon's Dogma and Rise of Ronin, but those are coming out in a few days. So already with just those two games, you have probably like 2 40, 50-hour games. So I'm very excited. There's tons of new games, tons of new mods for Souls games. The future's looking pretty damn fun, to be honest. How stoked are you for the full release of Archthrones after just messing around with their demo? Oh, Archthrones is looking so good. Like, honestly, it feels like a brand new game, like a completely new experience for Dark Souls 3, which is just incredible that they've been able to pull that off with just a demo. Now, I have no idea when the full release is. A lot of people have been asking me, obviously, since I've been playing it, and I know a couple of the devs for the mod, but I personally also have no idea. I'm assuming we're probably like another year away from a full possible release. But I am extremely excited. If the demo is any indicator on how good and how high quality the full release of the Archthrones is actually going to be, then oh boy, we're in for another good one, which leaves me excited for like more mods that have been in the works for a really long time. Like Nightfall for Dark Souls 1 is another one that has been in development for like probably like 3 years or something like that, maybe like 4. I just remember we did the demo for that like so freaking long ago, and I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the development of that mod specifically, but whenever it comes out, if it does come out, I'm very excited for that one as well. I still think some of the best mods for the older Souls games are still ahead of them, which is pretty crazy to say, but also really awesome to think about. What are your hobbies outside of games? Now, I know a lot of people are going to hate this when I say it, right? But I kind of like gambling. I wouldn't necessarily call it a hobby, it's just something I enjoy, but I guess you could kind of consider it like something I'll do every once in a while. Now, of course, I gamble within my means. I know what I can spend and what I can't spend. I have never, ever in my life gone over that limit. I know how to stop myself. And I wanted to say that because a lot of people, like, as soon as they hear gambling, they go, oh no, like a problem instantly. Like, I don't gamble more than usually not even close to what I can gamble. I just do it for fun, and whenever I'm hanging out with my brother and the friends. I love playing poker, so I'll play like Ultimate Texas Hold'em at one of the tables. I've been getting a little bit into like blackjack as well, but I'm still pretty bad when it comes to like the basic strategy and knowing exactly what to do. And there's a spider on my wall. Hold on. No, it fell. Oh, fuck. Well, it's gone. Fuck. It's gonna live in my PC now. Oh, God. There it is. No, that's a hair. Oh, I see it. Holy shit, my PC's dirty. I got it. I also like Baccarat. Would you rather have Dark Souls 4 or Bloodborne 2? This is a hard one, to be honest. So I love Dark Souls, I love Bloodborne. For me personally, let's just say, right, for example, they've learned from what they've done with Elden Ring, what they've done with Dark Souls 3 after Bloodborne. Hopefully, if they got a little bit of feedback as well on PvP, because PvP is a big important part for me. Listen, I know Bloodborne has its PvP. I know people love the PvP in that game. I personally could never really get into it. I mean, literally could barely get into matches. But the PvE for that game is so freaking perfect, in my opinion. Now, that's not to say that Dark Souls 3 also isn't pretty damn near perfect or perfect in its own way. But there's always something about Bloodborne when it comes to the style of it. I love the aesthetic of the Gothic era. I love the Lovecraftian type of lore with the aliens and the werewolves and the monsters. Like, that's just so up my alleyway when it comes to, like, stuff that I personally enjoy. That, honestly, for me personally, I would want a Bloodborne 2. Have you ever thought of attempting to get both of the Illusionary Rings in Dark Souls 2? Now, I remember those rings, and I know it has something to do with a challenge. Hold up, let me look it up. Alright, so apparently we have to, for the Illusionary Ring of Conqueror, you have to clear the game without dying. This includes dying while wearing Life of Protection or while phantom in another player's world. After you clear the game without dying, you should obtain it after the credits. And I like, by the way, it specifically in all caps says, "Do not skip the credits!" The other one, you have to clear the game without resting at a bonfire. Now, those are definitely challenges. Nah, probably not. But, like, seriously, like, there's no point. Like, I don't think it'd make a really entertaining, playthrough series, if I'm being completely honest. Well, I think the bonfire one might not be so bad, just kind of time consuming. Imagine the worst boss run and then, quadruple the amount of time, right? While the other one is just a straight up no death run, which I think I can do. I feel like I'd be able to do this in Dark Souls 2 if I just cheese it, but people would then be angry that I used a rapier with the highest level faith buff. So frankly, I don't think they'd be worth or be a fun playthrough. But you know what, maybe I'll try that. Maybe we'll have them for like a goal or something next time that we do a subathon. If we reach like 2,000 subs or something, like 1,500 subs, we'll try to get one of the Illusionary Rings. I think that's really the only way I'd probably do it. How fast do you think you could eat a door? Wooden, something you would find at Lowe's for a great low price, and you have full creative control over how you consume the door. Now we're talking human door, and not dog door. A human door might take a while. That might be like 30-40 minutes. Listen, I feel like we can grind up a door enough and maybe mix it into such a fine powder that I could almost down all the powder before I die. If I go, you know what, I want to go out and leave a legacy, go out on top, I grind up an entire door into sawdust and then I swallow it and die 30 minutes later. So if we're not counting the liquidation and sawdusting and grinding down of the door, then I'm thinking like 3 minutes. And now, back to the first question. What is the biggest regret in life so we can avoid it? One of the biggest regrets that I have, and this is me being completely serious and real, right, is not moving on quick enough when I was doing YouTube as a very early kid. Some of you may or may not know, I've been doing YouTube for like 14 years. I've pretty much been doing it since I was 14. That's a really young age to start off as. A lot of people who have been doing it for this long, they're either like nobodies or like massive fucking YouTube celebrities. I'm sort of about 25% of the way up there from being absolutely nobody to a goddamn YouTube god. And I feel like one of the things that did hurt me the most was when I started off, obviously I started off as a Call of Duty channel. Did specifically mainly like sniping and used sniper rifles and did Call of Duty montages. If you go back and look at I believe I have a playlist for like my old COD montages. I was pretty good at the game, if I'm being completely honest. I was a young whippersnapper with the reflexes of a gopher. And while I definitely wouldn't trade all of my time, I feel like the last 2 years or so of doing that, maybe the last year and a half, By this point, my brother had kind of jumped ship already and gone from Call of Duty to playing Mortal Kombat. My brother now has over 1 million subscribers and is one of the biggest fighting game channels on YouTube. Now, that's obviously not to say I'd be in the same spot as my brother if I had gone to play Dark Souls sooner, but it was more because I was kind of afraid to do what I wanted. I was sick of Call of Duty already. Like, the videos I made were kind of just to fill quota some days. And I stuck around doing that for way too long, when I really should have just, I guess in a way, followed my heart and done what I wanted to do. Although I didn't know what I wanted to do at the time, which was one of the hardest things too. I felt like I was still in a position where I could possibly do something with YouTube and get more views to getting a normal person job. Hell, I was even telling my mom, like, because my mom at the time worked at a supermarket, and I used to tell her, like, oh, Mom, if you could maybe, like, you know, see if you could give me, like, a job as, like, a bag boy or something like that. My brother was doing that, you know. He was working at a supermarket, being, like, one of the bag boys. He used to take the carts and put them in position. And, you know, he used the money from that job to buy, like, the capture card that we used to make videos and stuff. But I was kind of already leaning towards that position. And if it wasn't for my mom telling me I should just keep doing YouTube, and how the job was like a blood-sucking job, and luckily, I will say thanks to this job, my mom hasn't had to work for quite a few years now. You know, we pay for all the rent and anything she wants, basically, because of this. And I guess that's my way of, like, paying her back for her in the beginning, because if it wasn't for her telling me I should just keep going with it, I probably would have gotten a regular job. And then when Dark Souls came around was more when I realized kind of what I wanted to do. I played the game for the first time, absolutely loved them. And it wasn't until those Dark Souls 3 videos started doing okay where I realized, like, okay, maybe we have something here, you know? Maybe we have a future here. Who knows, like, if I would have jumped ship earlier, quite possibly, something would have happened, but I still feel like I should have gone to play other games sooner that I enjoyed, even though at the time I still had the personality and the way I spoke was a lot different. I was really nervous to make commentaries and videos, especially for Dark Souls, where it was like an established series for like a very difficult game that has like a very tight and knit community. Like, even still, you know, we're kind of like a pretty tight knit community. It was pretty scary making those videos. I might have been so awkward with other games that I ended up quitting YouTube entirely, and then I'd be working, you know, as a fucking street sweep mechanic, you know, fixing the cars that sweep the streets. It's actually a pretty lucrative job. I'd probably be getting paid more, but maybe I would have been more happy and gotten a lot more enjoyment out of YouTube the way I do now. But I guess it could kind of be summed down to try not to harbor on things too long. You know, like, I guess just in life in general is probably not good to keep things inside of you and kind of dwell on things, dwell on the past, stuff like that. It's always good to take some risks and try new things. That'd probably be one of my biggest regrets. Alright, that got kind of real there. Next question, who has the best feet in Elden? Selling. Now we get to the portion of the video that has all the Elden Ring DLC questions. Enjoy. How big do you think the Elden Ring DLC will be? I think we'll get a pretty good chunky length. We have a surprisingly high price for the DLC at $40, and the main game with Elden Ring was freaking giant. They've had quite a while to develop and work on the DLC. I think it'll be, I'm gonna say minimum 30 hours. Now I know people like to do that whole, like, maybe I should get $1 an hour, so if it's $40 I should get 40 hours for it. It's probably going to be pretty long, and we just hope that it's really, really fun and good quality. So I'm going to make my guess and say that on average people's first playthrough is going to be like 30 hours. And goddamn it, I hope I'm wrong and it's like 50 or 60, but we'll see, we'll see. What build will you be using for the DLC? I was more leaning towards like strength, faith, something along those lines with some type of fun buff and maybe a couple spells. But what I'm realizing, I'm just gonna end up finding the very first weapon I find that I think looks cool in the DLC and instantly using it and changing my build if I have to. That's pretty much exactly how it's gonna go. So I guess it more really depends what the first awesome weapon we find will be. What specifically about the DLC has you the most excited? I have been asked that a few times, and I would still say the thing that has me the most excited is the exploration of the new world that we're getting. It's supposed to be pretty much like as big as Limgrave, so not only is it just everything on the top, we have everything when it comes to caves and dungeons, to quite possibly a whole underground area. which I definitely do think we'll get. From Software loves their whole underground areas in Elden Ring, so I can see us getting something like upstairs is something real nice and shiny, and then underground is like a hell pit of fire. I think I would love that idea. But honestly, just exploring all of that, getting lost, finding a random cave, finding a random item or weapon that nobody else has found. And then second to that, of course, would probably be the bosses. I'm excited to see some of the crazy new bosses. I've been saying this, but man, I hope From Software put in like Millennia level difficult boss, where I remember specifically for Elden Ring when the game came out, I think it was like after one day or a couple hours, pretty much everyone on the Twitch live streaming page of Elden Ring were all stuck on one boss, and it was Radon. Everybody seemed to be hitting Radon and instantly getting stuck and then getting destroyed by Radon. And he was the first one that I think took a lot of people like quite a bit of time, and then people started reaching Millennia. So I hope we get something of like that caliber, something that is very difficult, very rewarding and fun to fight. A lot of people think it might be Mesmer, but I don't think it's going to be Mesmer. I think we haven't seen this boss yet. Final boss of the DLC, maybe. Hopefully it's sooner, hopefully it's multiple of them. Listen, I know a lot of people don't got time, but I don't want to be stuck on a boss and give it a good 100 plus attempts. What new weapon type has you the most excited? I think the fist weapons, or feet weapons, whatever they're going to be, have me the most excited. I want to see what type of variety we have. We have like the new Kung Fu movesets flying across the sky. I hope that we get a lot of experimentation like that throughout the DLC. The Odachis are another one that I freaking love in Neo, and I hope they're as good in this game. But I would probably say that right now, it would have to be the fist or feet weapon, whatever they are. Whatever gives me that flying Kung Fu moveset, that thing. Gonna be streaming it day one? Yeah, I'll be playing it 100%. Yeah, day one, Twitch and YouTube. But really, that's it. I'll try to do one that's sooner, even though I always say that, and then, you know, here we are a year later talking about it. But if you have any questions or want to ask anything for the future that I maybe didn't get to today, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below, and I'm sure we'll get to it next time. But thank you all again for watching, and if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Maybe consider leaving a like. Really helps out the channel, helps out the video. Thank you so much if you do so. I'm gonna go rest my voice because I lost my voice like 2 days ago. This is probably too much talking. All right, bye. See ya. Leave a like. Bye.